Here's take 2 for Sengoku. Second time's the charm. This time, Hawk says, I'ma get my Ziggs.
Yes, no more pivoting over to the Yasuo, which I guess is a Z pick based on the texture of the last draft. We'll see what happens though. Nuno I did like a lot from Chris, actually. I feel like ThunderTalk have played that pick very well in the times we've seen it. And Azure continuing to be a quiet star here for ThunderTalk, having a really great Varus game in the first one here as well.
Yeah, his Varus mechanically was good. He just got bullied in the early game. As did Z, to be fair. I thought that game was over. I didn't think Z would ever come back into the kind of damage he had in that late game, but he just finds these angles in the side lanes. Declares, these are my minions now. Cleans up a couple waves and marches his way back into it. Love to see what that star player is pulling out in the second half of this draft. They gave a full-on counter pick last time.
And it feels like, you know, even though he may have changed roles, a lot of like his style and his swagger hasn't changed, right? Like, he is kind of doing things on Zed that he would do on Fiora if he was in the Baron lane still.
I will point out, in contrast to the ThunderTalk we saw in the WPL, Z is getting played to. That game was about Z's Zed. Whereas during the WPL, Z was just kind of in the top lane, vibrating at an incredibly high frequency. Not getting a whole lot of jungle attention, but destroying lane. Oh my.
Oh, we're doing it. They're like, hey, remember the last draft where he picked him Malphite in the wrong order? Now we're going to pick it in the right order.
Do you think this is Malphite last pick?
I hope so.
God, I hope so. Opposite side, Sengoku won a scale. You go Olaf here because it's not affected by the CC. That gives you a front line that can kind of zone off the Yasuo. This isn't a terrible draft for Sengoku, but it certainly does sting to see ThunderTalk get so much of what they want here. I like that. Full committing to the late game here, high mobility on the Corki, able to kind of keep himself out of trouble. And if they can get to the late game, they'll be able to match the Yasuo. They've got Ziggs, they've got Corki, both of whom will do significant damage at range and be able to burn through his HP. It's going to be hard to get there, though, because one good combo and this is over. Is it Malphite?
I mean, even without
yes!
They figured it out!
It was the wrong order last time, Pastry! You gotta pick the Yasuo first, then the Malphite, because what we didn't realize is nobody's ever contesting the Malphite.
Exactly! They already got their support. They're not taking Malphite. It's all good. Alright, well, ThunderTalk, I mean, this is interesting, right? Because kind of the way the draft unfolded in game one threw that first game into disarray, and we ended up with perhaps a last-minute pivot onto Zed as well for ThunderTalk. But this is the comp that I assume they wanted to assemble in game one, and they did manage to win that first game, albeit not without a ton of resistance from Sengoku.
Yeah, and I will say, I do think ThunderTalk have really won this draft. Sengoku don't have a bad draft, but it's not very good into this composition. Because ThunderTalk with this Azure Varus just want to keep you at range, keep you in poke distance till they get the combo, then end the game. And they have a great comp for it. And Sengoku need to close the distance to get inside of Varus range, but then they don't have a whole lot of things they can hold up against the full barrage of Moonfall, Nunu, Unstoppable Force, all setting up for the last breath.
I love that you say that because I think you've made a couple notes now of like Varus ulti being such a good like disengage tool, and you can engage with it too if you want to, but I think it's better on defense on average than it is on offense. And there is this great ebb and flow in ThunderTalk's comp where they have all the go buttons, right? They got the Yasuo, Malphite, Diana, even Nunu Snowball if it can find a knock-up. But then you have Chain of Corruption and Absolute Zero, and it is just mud, glue, walking through the, towards this Varus that you need to get to, otherwise he's gonna arrow you to death.
You can't see it, but Julian did like a little arrow thing. It was like a Cupid bow.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. ThunderTalk absolutely counter Sengoku's ability to distance close. They counter Sengoku's ability to sit inside Corki range, that kind of medium close range, and draw damage. If you're sitting there, you're getting CC'd, you're getting Malphite ulted, and you're losing the team fight. If you sit at long range, you're getting poked. So it comes down to Sengoku's ability to play the map. We need to see good macro. We need to see them pick and choose their fights, manage to dodge the abilities of Z on Yasuo. It's going to be a tough road ahead for Sengoku.
Certainly is, as ThunderTalk looking to complete a day of 2-0s. I believe every single series before this one has been a sweep. That was definitely not my experience yesterday. And I do have full faith in Sengoku to get us to a third game, even though it is going to be a difficult path, given what ThunderTalk have presented now that they fixed the blip on their draft radar from game 1.
Does feel rather silly in retrospect, but
I was like, wait a second, just do it the other way.
I think they got a little caught up because you want Z to have last pick, right? You're trying to give him counter pick because he's your star player. You just get caught up in that.
Oh, it's top order. Totally didn't figure that out in the draft, but there we go. It makes sense with Russia's Lee Sin being picked early.
We see a couple of different regions do this. China does this. Korea does this. It's all right. I'm not the biggest fan of Top Olaf, but he's pretty good in the mid-late game team fights. And he's very good into this Diana, because Diana just doesn't have a whole lot of tools that scare him.
Feibai actually had a pretty good game last go around. Look at the head of some faces. Z is already dead. Rush with a wonderful gank there. Both jugglers showing up on time, and one looking a little better.
Yeah, Rush able to slide into the lane, and they've got two champions they like very much. You see, you get a little taste as to why there, because Rush has set up his ability to tie people down combos very well with Huck's unerring skill shots. Dejawo just loves doing that, and I love it for him. It's not particularly productive, but stops the arrows, you know.
Good for the mental on Alistair. Feels fun to do.
You know what? I play Alistair, and you're absolutely right.
All right, let's see how Tapka Z. Oh, of course. Just baited in there by Huck. Oh, what a satchel.
Wow. What a satchel in the Rush. Never shy to burn that flash. Gets in close range, sits on the recast from his Sonic Wave, using the Resonating Strike very late into that in order to finish off the kill. Rush is easily one of the best junglers at this tournament, and you get a taste as to why there in the mid lane.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, by the way, about all the good junglers is that they're really good at Lee Sin, and Rush is certainly no exception. Looking very slick there in that mid lane play. It's going to be first blood on the other foot this time here for Sengoku.
Single step forward, scaring Hark away. And one of the things that I'm very impressed by from Hark's Ziggs every time I see it is he's so good at maintaining that distance. Constantly able to just build that little bit of isolation you need to stay safe from melee rush characters like this Yasuo. He's on a ward.
Yeah, it's a good point. Chris is going to navigate the snowball around. Rush so easily able to dash away.
Like, god damn, I'm on a ward.
What do I do? Oh, I dash out. Everything's fine. Nice champion, Chris. You have to walk to me. I had to teleport around.
I would be in huge trouble if I didn't have 3 dashes.
Yeah. Pretty good there, as things are a little slowish. I guess we've been spoiled for early games, I feel like, today in general.
I like it.
But I do feel like, you know, for all the good of the early game that Sengoku have gotten out, at least in the, you know, the very early minutes of this one, we do recognize that ThunderTalk have things kind of locked up in the 5v5.
Yeah, and Sengoku always want to play to this 2v2 and mid. Rush will just either farm or gank the 2v2, and he tends not to do much else. So you're seeing the former here as Rush kind of sits in the jungle, farms up, tries to stay big as Lee Sin. You need to stay ahead of the enemy jungle farm in order to do mid and like get damage as Lee Sin. And Rush is really good at that. You pointed out during game number 1, he like randomly had the most gold in the game. Got that again here.
What a catch out of S12K. Rush in trouble, ignited, but not going to be felled as S12K is going pretty deep to try and get the damage done. Set up there with Drake, but not enough for the kill.
Yeah, it opens up Drake, which is arguably more important than the kill here. It is only a Cloud Drake, so probably the least impactful of the Drakes, but it does mean that ThunderTalk get that little bit of advantage. The Elder win condition gets a little bit more deadly. Sengoku, if they want to counterpunch, should focus in on this Rift Herald on the top, exploit the reset timer of ThunderTalk. That's exactly what they're doing. ThunderTalk taking a second to get back out on the map, showing Chris down bottom. And so Rift Herald will go 1-for-1 in objective training.
Oh, goodness, they do a re-engage there, but not much there. Doesn't quite catch them both, despite belting on in.
It's a fast point.
It is. I've seen a lot of Yeet belt supports today, which I'm definitely all here for. Even ones I didn't expect as much, like Thresh.
Yeah, I think if you're viewing these characters not for their ability to tank, which again are few characters in the game have, Keeper package,
yes,
get in range to auto attack Azure.
I like it. That's a show of strength.
That's an incredible. That's the grind set right there. Incredible aggression from one. But yeah, if you're viewing these tank supports not necessarily as tanks, but as sources of CC in their primary value, then it makes a lot of sense to do things like Proto Belt. That's why you see things like Galio, Thresh go boots first, because it's kind of hard to tank in Wildrift. And when you can't tank, you gotta land that CC.
I was gonna say it's kind of hard to tank, except for Malphite. But S12K is, you know, is a support who's going rower. Not really a tank either.
I mean, he's a rock.
He is a rock. We did see a rather large rock in the last game. Caused some problems for the Sengoku DPS.
If you go gargoyles, that's basically the first tank kind of. Oh dear, Chris.
Such a good bait here out of Sengoku.
Wow.
And Rush with the easy kickback. It's Chris Absolute Zero. And it's Absolute Zero health. There's one. Hawk's gonna grab it.
Got him. Nice pastry.
Had to get one in there.
One was in trouble down at the bottom side, but is able to Valkyrie away. And the combination means that Sengoku trade positively here on ThunderTalk aren't even going to get a whole lot out of the bot lane pressure that they tried to afford during that time. So really good setup in mid. Again, Rush finding those isolated picks through their three-man core, Dejuo, Rush, and Hawk. And it's a good sign for Sengoku in the mid game. Unlike game one, though, don't feel so great about their 5v5s.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing we'll keep coming back to here, but even with these kills, this is a very nice one to watch, so we will see it again. I mean, Chris is like rolling it down here in mid, trying to set it up for Azua, and Dejuo knows all too well that Nudu wanted a piece of that.
Chris, just dead, just checkmated. There's very little you can do once you take the bait there. And ThunderTalk don't lose a whole lot for that. Oh, this is good.
2-1 here for Z. Windwall gonna block a lot of the incoming Corki missiles.
No, thank you. And with that denial, I was just going to say, ThunderTalk don't lose a whole lot for losing their jungler. Chris is basically a tank here. He's not looking to deal huge damage. Real focus Sengoku need to deliver on in getting gold onto Hawk and Rush, and shutting down as best they can Azure and Z.
Decent damage here on the mid lane outer, thanks to that Rift Herald, but not getting a tower fully out of the deal is, you know, hurts a little, but they'll probably get it later. It's an investment for the future. Oh, great flash out of Z, my goodness, as Dejuo was rushing in there with a Proto Belt.
So the other thing, to kind of flip side it, the thing ThunderTalk need to do is find a 5v5, find a fight. And they just haven't been able to do that so far, as Sengoku have done a very good job of playing them across the map and refusing to teamfight them. ThunderTalk need to sync up a little bit more in terms of vision, I think. They're seeing very scattered warding, unable to really get any sense of where Sengoku are on the map before they emerge from the bush angry. And that needs to change.
Well, if there is a time to force a 5v5, what do you feel about Infernal Drake? Yeah, it seems like a good battle site, but unfortunately Malphite took a recall. This reset might cost them a very precious objective.
It's the take isn't fast enough for Sengoku, so I do agree ThunderTalk had a really awkward time in the reset. But Sengoku don't burn it down, so we get a fight for this.
That is Hawk locked up, flashing out of there, but gets ignited out of the deal.
Wow!
Back in, but Kai, sorry, they took it out. Immediately looked for the jungler from the Olaf, and that's the top laner just taking him out.
Yeah, Kai rolls up into the mid lane, and combined with the burst of damage from him and Hawk, they absolutely shred the effort. And now a player up, S12K down, ThunderTalk are zoned back.
By dancing back around.
Drake being taken.
Trying to force the fight. They are going to grab the Drake, though, but can they get anything more? The teamfight is maybe what they want. There's Z with the ulti in mid, but he can't get a kill just yet. Looking for him.
Wow!
Gets nothing. Kai is going to live through it. Dejuo not so lucky, but hey, that's a trade they'll take.
Kai flashing ahead of the piercing arrow. Here's the cleanup attempt, just short from Feibai. Only one player dies. That's Dejuo in exchange for an Infernal Drake, and Sengoku take that trade.
Also going to get more here. One, and the bottom side is going to get one. That Q rolling on down as maybe some extra kills to be had as Rush is low but not dead. The first tower, though, does go to the Corki. One takes that out. Rift Herald, though, picked up here by Chris. And now they're going to trade for top. In fact, they don't need to use the Herald just yet. Going to get this tower first.
Good cold swing for ThunderTalk, and that brings things back under their control. Again, their team fights are terrifying if they can force them, and we got a little taste of that there as the bursts of damage coming up from Z at this point are almost unstoppable. That's why Sengoku, rather than take the 5v5, try and force a split, sending 3 players to kind of bait underneath the turret, the rest of their team busy in side lanes on that dragon. That's the Sengoku playbook for the rest of this game. Try and avoid the team fight at all cost. Find those skirmishy picks around your core. Hawk, Rush, and whoever's with them.
And you highlighted in draft that Sengoku would need to be, very good on their macro this game, and certainly are showing that here through the first 10 minutes.
Good find, turret.
Now looking for the tower. Deji though, looking for the angle. Oh, great bit of stasis there for Azua. A little early, but good enough to protect you from the engage. And even though Hawk does a lot of damage with the 2-item ulti, it's not enough to one-shot the Varus, thankfully.
Sengoku feel confident going for that because Z is sighted down in the bot lane. He's on one of his side lane farming expeditions, as he frequently is. And Sengoku say, cool. We're not scared of anyone on this team if the Yasuo isn't here. Press in the mid lane, use their range, and just burn down the turret. The Rift Herald, as a result, ends up getting spent to equalize as opposed to earn an advantage.
This 12k is just so aggressive. Deji gonna make him pay. The punish is there on the table. Over we go with the Malphite ulti, but Hawk maybe can look for something, or isn't gonna find it though.
Yeah, you see why he's so aggressive. It's just impossible to shut down a Malphite. He didn't even have to burn Flash in that whole exchange. He ate so much damage. Ooh.
There's a lot of this in this bottom lane, I've noticed from
He's recalling. In the open.
Okay, one. He figured it out. Doesn't get caught shopping. Not slain by Boris.
Z. Wow. They're just desperate. They just really want Z to be able to find a target, and Sengoku are shadowboxing him. Every time Z tries to go in for a fight, tries to find a side lane skirmish, he's denied.
And still, with how much back and forth there is, this gold is so close. I love how Sengoku are playing it here, but this could get dicey. S12k zooming on in, no ulti though. It's a 4v3 right now, but it's not going to be that for much longer.
Yeah. Look at this from Sengoku. The second they realize, this fight's taking a little bit of while. ThunderTalk are willing and eager to fight this. They try and back away. They're trying to disengage. We'll see if they can get away with it. Z kind of trying to play the joke. Oh my. Hawk. Ready to go. Already got a ward in that bush, throwing some bombs over the wall. Making sure that ThunderTalk aren't able to spring their trap.
Yeah, love how Sengoku are approaching this game, trying to avoid them and pick intelligent fights, but we're still, a while away from breaking this game really open. We've split those first few Drakes. We haven't had a big team fight to burst into a massive gold lead, and this game is going to go late. So even though ThunderTalk have that 5v5, they need to find that 5v5, as you've said.
Yeah, they have the 5v5 win in their pocket, but it's no good having a coupon if you can't get to the store.
Before it expires. That's a tragedy. Didn't get your favorite sandwich.
You get a sandwich coupon?
Oh, absolutely. It's the best.
Wild. You do have kind of that coupon expiring here as one completes his second item, heading towards the third. He has huge damage here. See if they can use it.
Drake looks like it's in the hand of ThunderTalk, but Sengoku on the fight instead. Ziggs ulti is going to find S12k. Looks to try and find the combo, but the package goes in.
Look at
Azua once again is trying to make it happen. Goes Golden trying to defend himself, but he can't do it. The wraparound is there, but Z is going to try and find it. Doesn't get the tornado. That's not what he wanted. Can't find the kills. And the team fight win is there. Kind of for Sengoku. 3 for 2, not bad.
Beautiful team fight for Sengoku. ThunderTalk lose the fight. Yes, they get the dragon. Normally, that would be a win, but Z dying there is devastating.
Watch it once again in the X replay as they thread the needle here for Sengoku.
The full frontline focus takes out S12k, and watch Z here. He waits for Wong to spend Valkyrie second time, goes, this is an easy kill, flashes in, and they try and combo with the Moonfall. Unfortunately, Dejwo has other ideas, perfectly interrupting Z, stopping him from capitalizing on the Moonfall, and then keeping him CC chained whilst Hawk shuts him down.
Well, as a note, we did see briefly in the picture-in-picture that the quiet overachiever for ThunderTalk continues to be Faye. I forgot about Faye, TJ, but he does take down the Ziggs.
Yeah. He's just hanging out, the longest-serving member of this roster, the only original member of this roster. He's stuck with the team through 2 different massive roster shuffles. The second one often caused by visa issues here, and you see why. A solid, consistent player, the kind of player you need to back up somebody like Z. Keeps ThunderTalk in this, shutting down Hawk, who is scaling very scarily towards that inevitable Zig spike in the late game.
It does feel like if the game goes late, we are looking at Zig's Corky, if they can get positions to shoot the members of ThunderTalk before everyone gets comboed into oblivion.
This is overextension.
S12K looking for Deja with here alongside Chris. We got Z a little late to the party.
Ooh.
Great kick to disengage out of Sengoku.
Back the way you came from. Good denial from Rush. I was pretty sure Deja was dead, but Rush isn't afraid to step back up into a dangerous situation in order to stop ThunderTalk from getting a man advantage. ThunderTalk are being held at bay by the threat of the skirmish, by the threat of the flank at this point. And they, knowing that a player has recalled, feel confident to take a little more vision control, which is very good for them. The more control of this map they have, the more likely they are to force a favorable team fight, which is, of course, all they need to end this game. ThunderTalk are just one good team fight away from the game being over at this point.
You know, to go back to Feibai briefly, it's not just that he's been consistent, he's consistently found his way to the highest earning member of this game here. Has the gold lead for himself as Chris is zooming down onto Deja. But again, it is the long game here. It is the Baron. It is the big fight that ThunderTalk are trying to find, trying to coax Sengoku into.
And Sengoku can't turn it down this time. They have to stop this Baron take. Which means that for the first time this game, they must fight. They have to take the 5v5. They have to stop Z from gaining access to Hawk, or Deja for that matter. Keep Hawk and Juan safe in the backlines of this fight. As long as those two players are alive, this is winnable for Sengoku.
Well, Juan with great package timing all game long here does have it up for this Baron, but maybe ThunderTalk will be patient, wait it out. It is a while, but you can prevent it from happening as Z and Chris are going to start the Baron.
That's a quick take. Z's going to melt this Baron at this point.
Feibai as well. Oh, this is the zoning. Rush now. He's going to maybe be the target Feibai wants it. Z goes back, dancing back through. S12K, ulti at the ready. The choke points are there. It's looking a little dicey. Chris also a little bit low on health. So Zig's ulti's massive. In goes the other. Now the engage needs to be found here for Sengoku. The front line is going to go down. S12K now just disengaging for the rest of the fight as Z does get the tornado, but he can't follow up.
And it's just a bombardment from range. Late game, Zig's Corky over the wall. At long distance, ThunderTalk just get melted. And they don't get the chance to teamfight yet again, despite being around the Baron.
Still close, the Elder Ocean up. That is a bad time for S12K to be dead. And Z is trying to take the game into his own hands. He finds the solo kill, rides all the way down the minion wave, and just elegantly slices two members of Sengoku.
They need to make a play here. Hawk, Rush, Deja, no, the game's on the line.
They're going to have to go for it, like you said. The Zig's ulti chunks the Zua up massively. Deja finds a re-engage it. Z once again going to try and save the day. Onto Rush he goes, but he gets himself kicked, and that's the kill. But now Feibai, the longest standing member, going to try and keep them here around this Baron. There's the revive. The GA is down. Deja in trouble. Hawk has got no health to play with. Feibai going to chase down the Alistar. Rush dips his way out, but straight into the waiting arms of Feibai's Diana.
Jungler down now for Sengoku. That could be the Elder. And ThunderTalk make a beeline towards it. For the second time in 2 games, it's Z in the late game who brings his team to an advantage.
Always finds a way to pick off a carry when you need him most.
Half HP, the only hope here is a steal from Hawk. Will it be perfectly timed?
Can Team Smite Nunu?
No.
I think not.
And that is a very good sign for ThunderTalk. I will refrain from calling the game here, but I think it is very safe to say that Z put some nails in the coffin with those 2 picks, just running down the mid lane, really putting the team on the line.
It never ends. In fact, it may be Sengoku that's found it. Here is a stasis there. Feibai gets out. They need to save the rest of the squad. The rest of K flashing out to safety. Chris spot the stone plate and run away. And he's just going absolutely nuts. 1v4. He's trying to make it happen. The snowball back in. That's not what he's looking for. Used everything. Gets Chris killed as well. Dead out the front of the pit.
Z gives and Z takes. He walks forward as his team's already dead, as his team has no cooldowns. And that's going to be a massive mistake for ThunderTalk as Sengoku find a kill onto the only scary opponent, Z, onto the only opponent with a smite, Chris. And they're going to take the Baron as a result. And this gives them a chance, an opportunity to stay in this game, to win this game. It is a very short window pastry. It is this Baron and no longer.
Azua had the read, felt it in his soul with the Q, and it just wasn't the timing he was looking for. And he was blind, completely blind, trying to steal it, but that doesn't happen. No miracle bailout there from the Varus Q. It is Sengoku with this Baron, with the last window into this game here. They need to knock down some towers. They need to try and open up the supers. They need a big opening here in this game. It has been neck and neck for so long, for 20 minutes, and it needs to not be there any longer.
And most importantly, they need to win a fight. They need to get kills in order to do any of that. Because full respawns are up. ThunderTalk are here to defend their turrets, and Sengoku must kill them in order to advance.
Got the damage. If they can protect Haken1, they can make it happen. There's 2 out of S12K. Z just diving into the back line. No, not yet. It's an absolute barrage here as Juan is trying to package his way out to safety, but Azua gets the kill. He's staying alive, but Juan, he's also still there, and Z gets crushed again, and Juan is making it sing right now on the Corki as the carries live and Sengoku keep charging towards the Nexus.
This could be game. 40 seconds on Z and Azure. There's not a whole lot of damage left for ThunderTalk. It's all down to Feibai as the TPs come in, as Rush looks for a flank.
And this is it. Hawk is putting it all in here with the teleport back through. Going to try and at least knock down these towers, but the game could be there. Ziggs does so much damage to structures.
20 seconds on Z and Azure. The 2 key respawns. As here comes 2. Baron wave.
That's not enough time. I don't think they can do it. ThunderTalk are going to have to play a third game, and Olaf, he just pops Ragnarok.